covering our costs is something that you could make an exception and wouldn't put you in a an undefendable position in a future discussion with somebody else with a similar facility. And the definition of similar is in the eyes of the applicant generally, as we all know. In other words, when they come into my office and I say, yeah, but housing is different, they'll say, well, I don't think they're that different. And that's not housing's fault, it's not the selectmen's fault, but we're trying not to set up a situation where the rules are seen as modifiable as people feel at the time.
Could I just ask for just so that I know, because I've had, like I said, I was told by the building inspectors, the people in that office, and I asked this question: if I were building a home and I was putting in toilets, I was told that I could put in up to 5 toilets for $60. So the building inspector will go into a home and he will inspect up to 5 toilets for his $40 or
60.
The 60. Okay, so the whole 60 goes to him.
Well, no, it would be 40.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So if it were a single-family home and I'm putting in 5 toilets, it's $60. So what I'm asking for is to look at our buildings, and there are 8 toilets in that building as opposed to 5. Charges the 60 for the 5, and then charges the extra for the 3. We are a state agency, yes. We've been in town for 40 years. We house the seniors and the disabled, affordable income people here. And we're just trying to get a job done that we've been given a certain amount of money, and we're trying to get it done within the amount of money we've been given.
I can respond, or you can, but I think it's pretty apparent to anybody looking at this, and the next conversation with the next multi-unit residential structure, for example, the 40B down in Ocean Grove. That's different than a single-family residence. I think we can all agree to that.
It's totally different. It's totally different from the housing authority.
Right. So, well, but I think it probably has more, and this is all up to the people who are in this position to make this decision. But I think it's a little bit difficult to say when we take the housing authority, we're going to call that we're going to apply a single-family residence application of their permit fee. But then when somebody's going to build an apartment building, it's going to be a different set of rules. My recommendation was to the board was that was a poor application, even though I tried it.
Well, I think there should be a policy set so that everything's, we don't have to, and nobody has to go through this every time they need a permit.
Well,
there's no policy.
There absolutely is a policy, and the policy is that the permitting fee is a well-known fee, and it's charged uniformly throughout the town of Swansea. What you're asking for is for this board to intervene in that policy and offer some special consideration to the Swansea Housing Authority. It's not a matter of there being no policy. It's a matter of you're asking us to intervene in this set of circumstances. And while I do agree with one thing that Mr. Kern said, in that,
just one.
Well, I agree with a lot of what you said, Mr. Kern, but one thing in particular is that this board must make a decision that is consistent and can be applied across the board. Mr. Kern gives the example of a 40B in Ocean Grove, but there could be multiple future multi-use residences that occur in the town of Swansea that those people might wind up at that exact same table before this board looking for some leniency in terms of permitting fees. We have to be able to provide some mechanism by which we can differentiate between them and you.
Right.
And I will tell you that I started out at full fee. However, there's something about this that is a little bit different, a little bit special. And it starts with the fact that you're a nonprofit organization. Beyond that, and this is really important to me personally, that you give benefit to Swansea residents beyond any other resident.
Correct.
That to me is not unnoticed, at least by me on this board, and I suspect by the other members as well. Combine that with the fact that you're a state, if not a quasi-state agency, and I think there is room for special consideration. However, in my opinion, I think that we have to make sure that at least our costs are covered. And I think an analysis has been done that would peg that cost of the project at a discount from $38.40 down to $25.60, I think I heard you say, Mr. Kern.
That's correct.
And I think that that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I'll take the temperature of the other members of the board and I'll open up the floor and allow them to ask me some questions as well. But that's pretty much where I'm at right now. Mr. Ventura.
Well, that 2560 figure is pretty much where I've been at from the beginning of this process. I think that for all of what the chairman said regarding what you give back to seniors in this community and those who need the housing is much different. I have no concerns whatsoever about this board setting a precedent here with the discount, because I don't see another quasi-state agency coming before us in this town. I just don't. And I think the discount is defendable simply because of those two things. That you're a quasi-state agency, we get a lot of funds from state and federal authorities. I don't think it's a big decision for us to just charge a cost for that. So that's where I'm at, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Ventura. Mr. Markey.
Welcome. I started off when we had this discussion about if I could help you, I certainly would. I've had a career in municipal government that's lasted for 35 years, and these situations and requests have come up a number of times, which legal advice has been rendered a number of times. Apparently legal advice has been rendered in this particular case too. I haven't seen it come to me in writing. It was very unusual and contrary to the advice that I had received in the past. I have always been instructed that with interdepartmental or intermunicipal agreements, there has to be a conveyance of tangible in-kind services, which means you have to have something to provide back. I'm not sure that the consideration given to Swansea residents qualifies for that. I was aware of this same situation when the facility on Old Fall River Road was constructed, and the same thing occurred, and the request for reduction in fees was rejected. I say this repeatedly. We are a public organization, a municipal entity that exists under the rules and regulations and laws of the Commonwealth. And in the absence of in-kind services being available that are tangible, then no relief can be granted. I'm sorry to tell you that, but that has been my experience for 35 years, and I'm going to remain consistent with that position.